What's going on, friends? Sean Pierce Johnson here, and welcome to the season finale of Stompbox Saturday Season 6. And I can't think of a more appropriate thing to do than basically play one of the craziest pedals that I've gotten in the last few months as the final pedal that we demo here on the show for the season. And that comes to us from my buddies at Retrohead FX in Argentina. It is the Cosmic Phaser. The Cosmic Phaser is, well, quite frankly, its name suits what exactly it does. It is quite possibly the most tweak-happy phaser I have ever run across in my days, with more knobs than I care to really have on a phaser. But, however, all those knobs mean that this is not just your daddy's orange Phase 90. This isn't even your dad's or your mom's or whoever the hell's green Boss phaser. Although it is green, and it is a phaser. I just realized that as I'm saying that. Anyway, there's a lot to unpack here. So let's go ahead, throw the pedal up on the screen, take a look at the controls and the pedal itself. Now, first off, gotta point out the fact that Retrohead, again, killing it with the packaging game here, with the artwork and the packaging of the instruction manual, the recall sheets, the pedal sock that it comes in being color-coded with the pedal, and then the custom printed box, which I actually have right down here. I mean, these guys really do their homework, and it's one of the reasons that I love them so much. So let's take a look at these controls, and there are a lot of them, starting with the knobs. Now, the green row down here consists of Regen, Freak, Depth, and Mix. Now, Mix is very interesting because essentially it's a wet-dry blend, but it's kind of reversed and is more like from phaser to vibrato. Because as you dial out your dry signal on phasers, you tend to get pretty close to a pitch bending vibrato effect. So that's essentially what we have here. Now, regeneration is sort of the amount of signal that is fed back into the phase circuit, so it kind of helps as a way to increase the apparentness of the effect. Now, frequency sweeps from low to high, and it's sort of where the center point of your frequency spectrum is going to be, going from more of the low frequency area for the LFO to move through, or emphasizing more of the higher frequencies for the LFO to move through. Low frequency oscillator, that's what LFO stands for. And then depth, pretty self-explanatory, the apparentness of the phasing effect. Again, lots of different controls to really kind of get you the phase sound that you're going after. That's really what the theme of this pedal is. Now we come to the top row of the black knobs. The first one over here on the left is probably my favorite, and that's the Deform Knob. Now, essentially what this is, in the center, you might not be able to see it. Actually, you can see it pretty well on the camera. You see C. That's center. So basically, whatever waveform type that you select, it's going to evenly go through that frequency sweep. But you can use the Deform Knob to shorten the rise and lengthen the fall, or vice versa, lengthen the rise and shorten the fall of the waveform to kind of craft your own wave shape, so to speak. It's a really cool thing. Amplitude is the volume of the low frequency oscillator that is creating the phasing effect. Amplitude is basically just another word for volume, so look at it that way. Then right here, shapes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different wave shapes to choose from for the phasing effect, from our classic sine wave, triangle wave, and square wave to random step phaser, as well as a complete like stun gun phaser sound. It's really, really quite spectacular. And then finally, the simplest knob, the rate knob, how fast the phasing effect is going to move. Now, we also have some toggle switches down here, which we are going to get into. Resonator. In each of the left and right positions, it's going to sort of emphasize where the resonant peak is in the frequency spectrum of the LFO. Lower and higher depending on where you have the switch set. In the middle, it's basically off. Now, the mode switch. In the center, it's going to be turned off. When you have it in the right position, it's going to be kind of like a univibe style phasing effect. And then when it's in the left, it's going to be directly related to the next toggle switch, which is the opto-trem toggle switch. And it basically extends the frequency range when you are going to be in optical tremolo mode, which we then get to the opto-trem switch. Now, this basically allows you to choose whether or not you want optical tremolo, because this pedal can do that. It allows you to select whether or not it's just a phaser, or you can combine both of them to get a combined optical tremolo and phaser effect. Man, this thing is kind of all over the place, so I think it's best that we just start exploring some of these knobs, hearing some of the sounds that they can create, and just getting down to using our ears and listening. Let's start by hearing some sounds of the different wave shapes that we have for the phase shifting tone. Now, I'm going to be using the Jennings Navigator for the majority of this video, running into the Cosmic Phaser, and after that, I actually have the orange Kong presser. I find that that's going to normalize some of the volume jumps that we might get from using the Cosmic Phaser, as well as just make sure that, you know, everything stays kind of in control. I also feel like it's kind of a nice glue. So let's take a listen, starting with this kind of slope phaser that rises and then steeply drops. Let's take a listen. You can hear that rise and then that steep drop. Now the second mode is basically the same thing, but in first we have a drop and then it jumps and then slopes. So let's take a listen to that. This is one little quirk. Each of the different wave shapes has a different way that the rate responds. This is a little bit faster than what we just heard. Now, the next wave shape is sort of a triangle phaser. Let's go ahead and turn down the rate. I like that one a lot. Now we go to the square wave. Going to be very choppy. Next up, kind of a typical sine wavy kind of thing. Gonna be very like univibey as you kind of play around with that one. It's very familiar kind of tone. Next up, this is sort of a nifty take on the triangle wave, where instead of going slope up and then slope down, it's kind of a fade up and then a fade down. It's a very interesting thing. Let's see if we can really turn up the depth a little bit more. Let's see if we can hear that. That's kind of cool. I like that. Let's make it a little faster. That one is fun. I like that. Next up, step phaser, which is always kind of fun. Kind of reminds me of the Robotalk pedal that Exotic made all those years ago. I just like that kind of randomness to it. It's very magical and interesting, I guess I can say. This last one, it's pretty random. I don't know quite how to describe it, so I'll just play it. And you'll notice we have the rate turned all the way down for this one. Well, I don't know exactly what that one is, but it sure sounds weird, and it sure sounds kind of fun. So if you're into more of the spacey kind of phaser thing, there you go. It's right there. Set your phasers to stun, people. All right, so those are the wave shapes, and there are many of them to choose from. It's just all about, figuring out what you like best. As for me, I'm kind of the traditional kind of phaser guy, but I do really like the step phaser. That's something that I've been kind of getting really into playing around with lately. However, I can't deny how classic that sort of sine wave is. So what I'd like to do is, utilizing this sine wave, show you how you can start using some of these other controls to really craft the phaser sound that you're looking for. So let's dive into that. Now that is the way that the phaser sounds as we left it from the previous segment. Now, I want something just a little bit more resonant, something a little bit deeper and kind of throatier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the resonator and I'm going to flick it over to the left. Turn up the rate. Cool. Next up, I am going to go ahead and sweep the freak knob from low to high and find that point that's that very deep resonance that I'm looking for. We're getting close. Now I'm going to just dial back the depth a little bit. Yeah, that's doing the thing. But now that I've dialed back the depth, there's a little bit more sound out of that phaser that I want to get. That's where the amplitude comes in. increases the volume of the low frequency oscillator so that we can really start to hear that phase tone. Cool. Now I want to mess around with the regen, feed some more of that back into it, and maybe get something just really kind of gnarly and deep. So I'm going to turn it all the way back and sweep that knob, and once I find my sweet spot, I'll go to that. And sometimes I wish I knew how to play Grace. All right, I'm kind of liking this so far. Now there's one other thing that I want to show you, and that's the Deform Knob. That's going to allow us to kind of shape the way that the wave rises and falls. So I'm going to go ahead, strum the chord, turn it from the center counterclockwise or clockwise, which would be, and then the opposite direction. Hear how it makes the rise a lot longer and that fall very short. And what I find with the standard kind of phase shapes is that just a little bit off center just really makes things pop out. And it even sounds good with some distortion. And that is a sound that I like a lot. It is something that I can get a lot of mileage out of for cleans, for dirties, and it is very much in the old school phaser kind of vibe. It's nothing too strange and out of the ordinary. Although this pedal looks strange and out of the ordinary, you can very easily get some classic kind of tones out of it. I think it's time to wrap this thing up by showing you a few of the sounds that I've been able to conjure up, as well as some of the presets that Retrohead has come up with for you guys. Let's go ahead and check those out. Now, I told you the Cosmic Phaser could do optical tremolo, and this is the sound that I like to use most when it comes to optical tremolo. In all honesty, when I first got the pedal, it was a sound very similar to this that I came to the first day I had it, and this didn't leave the pedal as the sound I used for about a week. It was just so good and so vibey that I just had to go with it. Combined with a little bit of analog style delay from the TAE as well as some reverb, it's just a very immersive sound that is just a hell of a lot of fun to play and vibe on for a while. So let's take a listen. This sound with the Cosmic Phaser is all about getting your guitar to sound like it's melting in some sort of weird Salvador Dali acid flashback. I don't know if Salvador Dali did acid, but his paintings sure seem like he did. And this is how his paintings sound. Friends, is the Cosmic Phaser from Retrohead FX. So if you're bored of the standard run-of-the-mill phaser, this is the one for you to take a look at. I know the guys from Retrohead, and they are very dedicated to making a great product, and this is definitely one of them. One thing I would like to see in maybe a future version is the addition of just a volume control, something overall to sort of balance out and gain stage properly. Sometimes there's a little bit of a volume jump. You can do some things with the controls to combat that, but just a dedicated volume control for the overall output of the pedal would be great. At the same time, these guys go to a lot of work to make a really killer package, something that, you know, you guys are going to want to buy. And frankly, from everything that I've played from them, I'm not disappointed. I'm very happy to know them and very happy that they like my videos so much that they want to keep sending me stuff. And by the way, if you're interested, now that it is post-Christmas and you might have a little bit of holiday money to burn, we do have a few of the Toxic Fuzzes and Mystic Drives in stock on my Reverb store for you to buy if you are here in the United States or in Canada. You can find that link in the description below. And in the meantime, I would love to know what you thought of the Cosmic Phaser. Let me know your thoughts, positive or negative, in the comment section below. I do read all the comments, and chances are I will reply to your comment as well. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or click the subscribe button and turn on your notifications, and when Season 7 premieres, you will know when that happens. But if you'd like the behind the scenes nitty-gritty and get notified of when Season 7 is going to premiere before anybody else in the world and get some exclusive content access as well, please consider becoming a patron and joining my Patreon community today. A link for that is down in the description below. I want to take a moment to say thank you not only to Retrohead FX, but all the companies this year that have sent pedals, have sent product here to me, to the channel, in order to be demoed for you guys. It is a great thing to know so many great companies, and I am very happy to say this year I did not play a single stinker pedal amongst all of them. And of course, most importantly, I want to thank you guys for joining me almost every Saturday and a bunch of other times throughout the year when there have been pedal launches, whatever, and watching my videos. I wouldn't be doing this without you guys watching, and I thank you so much for your continued support. You guys got me over that 5K hump this year, and I greatly appreciate it, and I hope we can continue into next year, and hope that whatever is to come next from NAMM, you will be joining me for that. Thank you again so much. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your year and holiday season. Stay tuned because my top 10 pedal list of 2019 will be coming up shortly. Until next time, my friends, I'm SeanPierceJohnson, wishing you all out there great tone, happy stomping, and a happy new year. Cheers, friends.